China is known for producing everything from tiny needles to massive cars. But despite this industrial power, there's one thing China doesn't have. Something only the United States possesses. On April 2, 2025, President Donald Trump held a press conference with a red card in hand. It listed countries and the tariffs the US was imposing on each. As Trump read the list, global markets trembled. This wasn't just a political announcement, it was the beginning of a modern trade war, a war where the weapon would be power and its ammunition would be money. So, what does this mean for China? And can it survive this economic battle with the US? Welcome back to another video. Let's break it down. Many believe tariffs are just taxes on imports, but they're actually tools used by governments to protect local industries. When a country imposes a tariff, it increases the cost of foreign products, making locally made goods more competitive. For example, if the US places a 34% tariff on Chinese goods, those products become more expensive for American buyers. As a result, US consumers are more likely to choose American-made items. But it works both ways. Countries like India, Pakistan, and China also impose high tariffs on US products, sometimes even higher than what the US imposes. Let's take Harley-Davidson, an iconic American brand. When it exports bikes to India, they're hit with a 100% tax. This makes them cost as much as local bikes like Royal Enfield, protecting India's market. That's the real reason tariffs exist, to shield local industries and conserve foreign currency. Now imagine this on a global scale. Trump's move wasn't just about taxes, it was a strategy to bring production back to the US by making foreign goods less attractive. While multiple countries were affected, it's clear that Trump's primary target was China. Over the years, China has become the manufacturing hub of the world thanks to cheap labor and mass production. In 2000, the US imported $80 billion worth of goods from China. In 2025, that number skyrocketed to $440 billion. Meanwhile, China only buys about $145 billion from the US. That's a $295 billion trade deficit. And Trump wants to fix that. But how? By raising tariffs so high that American companies are forced to stop manufacturing in China and move back home, even if it costs more. This would impact brands like Apple, Tesla, Dell, HP, and Nike, all of which manufacture in China. Bringing these operations back to the US would reduce imports, but increase production costs, potentially leading to price hikes and losses. Still, Trump seems willing to take that hit to break China's hold on global manufacturing. But China has its own vulnerability, and it's not technology or electronics. It's food. With a population of over 1.4 billion and only 13% arable land, China struggles to feed itself. Especially its massive pig population, over 400 million pigs, which require high-protein feed made from soybeans. Here's the twist. China can't produce enough soybeans on its own. Every year, it imports 50 million tons from the US, making this one of its biggest agricultural dependencies. While China has tried using alternatives like canola seeds or insect farming, none are as effective or affordable as soybeans from the US. The US has a population far smaller than China's, but way more land, about 1.25 acres per citizen compared to China's 0.23 acres. That means it can produce enough for itself and still export, especially vital crops like soybeans. And that's where the US has leverage. It can survive without Chinese imports by buying from other countries. But China? It can't easily replace American soybeans. China runs a trade surplus. It makes more than it consumes and depends on global markets to stay afloat. The US, on the other hand, is a consumer economy. It doesn't need to sell to survive, but it does need to buy. That gives the US power. Trump recently suspended tariffs for 90 days for many countries, except China. Instead, he increased China's tariffs to 125%. That's not a coincidence. It's a clear message. This trade war isn't about who can sell more or who's more industrialized. It's about who can survive longer without the other. And while both nations are powerful, China's dependency on US agriculture and global markets makes it far more vulnerable. So, what do you think? Can China really stand against the US in a prolonged trade war? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. See you in the next video.